Welcome back, everybody, to my Strat build. Today we'll be putting the neck and the body together. The music in the background is by Digital Dolls / Hughes, the band I'm currently in. And I want to give a pre-warning of the focus lighting. My camera just didn't know what to focus on in some points, so try to get that fixed for the next video. I'm kind of liking doing voiceovers post-production because it's just funny watching me put everything together and going, what am I doing? But anyway, I'm just basically seeing how everything fits together. Alright, and now I'm just checking to see if there's any gaps or any misplacements. I'll zoom in a second with the standard cell phone cam zoom in. Alright, and as you can see, there's no weird gaps or spacings in between the body and the neck, so everything meets perfectly. Alright, and now we'll mark the screw placements on the neck. So basically take the screws and make indentations through the body onto the neck. So when it comes time to drill, I know where I'm going. Time to find a drill bit that fits. I measured the screw, and now I found my bit. Go ahead and just reinforce those indentations and actually make sure that the bit goes in without making the holes on the body larger. I'm simply just trying to make sure the screws can fit into the neck through the body. Alright, and now I'm marking the indentations with a marker, so when it comes time to drill, I know where I'm going. Alright, and I previously did some calculations just of depth and how far I need to go in, and how big the drill bit was, how deep, blah 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 blah, math, science. And to be honest here, I forgot to film the drill part so I could time lapse it, so I acted it out, and I was gonna edit the act out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna show you guys the whole unedited edit of me acting. Alright, and here are the 4 holes. Looking good. Now I'm just going to attach the back plate and screw the screws in. Alright, I had to put some wax on the screws so that when they go into the wood, they'd slip in a little easier versus cracking the wood and potentially having deeper cracks. And that's it. It's screwed in relatively Easy. I don't know if you noticed, but at some point I mixed the screws up and the wax ones were left on the table. But on to the next. Alright, well, I measured the halfway point in the trim cavity, so I knew where to hold the trim claw to put the dots for the screws. And now it's about here when I noticed, I was like, I'm gonna have some problems. It's a little bit too tight in there, and the angles I could get in were weird, as you can see. But I was like, you know what? We're just gonna throw caution to the wind, and we're just gonna do it for the YouTube, because we're gonna put this together without doing any special stuff. And you'll see in a minute what had happened. Alright, I know you saw those funky angles, but everything looks good, right? Right? Yeah, let's try out. I wax my screw again, and by the grace of the almighty Thor, I screwed this thing in with my hand, because I didn't want to hurt the body any more than I did. As you can see, the screw on the left is really bad angle-wise, so spoiler alert, I eventually went to this hardware store and got a really long drill bit so that I could straighten out the holes. And the screws went in fine. Everything was looking great. Flipped it over and saw one of the screws. It almost went through the top, which is why I didn't want to use a power screwdriver. So tune in next week for part 3, where I figure out what we're going to do with the bridge and the electronics. Thanks for watching.